Brother Marine. We have returned again today, this day, Sunday. We're doing a hobby hanging out and thing that we'll be doing right now, which is dreadnoughts. So I got my dreadnoughts. Here they are. Wonderful, wonderful dreadnoughts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can count. We got 6 dreadnoughts, and we've got a whole mission, venture, and journey ahead of us. And okay. All right, it's not as big of a change as it might be being let off, because there's still going to be bloodhounds. There's still the bloodhounds. Just this model here that excusably is unfinished is going to be updated. And it's going to match the entire line. And all of these are going to follow suit. So it's going to be good. X to doubt, you can't count, there's actually 12. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then here we have 1 pair of arms, 2 pairs of arms, 3 pairs of arms, and 4 pairs of arms. So if you add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? All of these, then that actually is kind of like 12. So with that, we might actually have 12. So right here, this today is pretty much just going to be dusting off and assessment. It's pretty much seeing what kind of damage do we got here. And there's some pretty nice damage. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Wow. So, all right, I've not even gotten to dusting yet. Okay. So let's just take our prime suspect here. We have our dreadnought here. Oh, is it camera not doing the focus thing again? All right. Well, this is what we got. Thing to make it focus, right? Gonna do it. All right. So we got this guy here. He's our dreadnought. All right. Focus. 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 Oh, that works. Change the background. Wow. Wow. Amazing. So, where did that come from? I gotta blow my nose now. Oh, lovely. That's what you all came to hear. An ASMR experience. I want to hear Slate blow his nose again. So this guy here. All right, camera. You win this time. But next time, it will be my game that we'll be playing. Wow. So, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be dusting all these off, and I'm going to be looking at what needs to be done. And just looking at this, there's a lot that needs to be done. And I've already kind of planned it out. I already have like a rough idea of what I'm wanting to do. All right, is this thing? So, wow. So focus is not in the plan today. The camera actually doing its thing is not actually part of the thing today. Well, we don't need it to do that. Yeah. Yeah, we don't need that. Maybe if I put this, I could take this thing here. I put this like this. And then I put this here. Is it gonna... It almost did it. It almost did it. It almost did it. Wow. Everything needs to be done. Yeah. There's a lot of everything needs to be done on this. Like, so this is how my Dreadnought has looked for the past, like, 20 years. And I've just kind of never imagined it any other way. Okay. Camera troubles. And I have no idea how to make it, like, I can't make it focus. Like, well, I'd have to, like, end the stream. And then I could, like, make it focus on a certain level. There's no, like, button or anything. Didn't work. I do this. That's even worse. Why is that all the way down there? That's not very good. Let's see, what if we transform, fit to screen? All right. There's gonna be little black edges there. All right, so the center of the screen should be right there. You'd think. Okay, it's not doing the thing. It's not doing the thing. All right. Whatever. I could try a sheet of paper. That might do it. Try a sheet of paper. Wow, it like almost did it. Okay, so anyway. I'll have to remember to turn off the autofocus next time. Because it doesn't like me. So, this Dreadnought here, and amongst the rest of them, a lot to do here. I'll just start dusting while I'm kind of looking it over at the same time. So, this Dreadnought is one of the few models that I have left that has the original Blood Angels red spray paint back from like thousands that I used. Which I think there might have been one for that, so maybe not quite the original. Original for me. So, once we get all this dust off of it, though, it's going to be a lot more manageable to get painted up. Which probably isn't going to be tonight. All right, this is going to be like a slow, steady, plodding process. But we're going to get through it together. So, this guy here, look at all this dust. There's a lot of dust. There is a lot of dust. Good chance I'm not even going to get all of it, but oh well. So based on this, I'm probably going to change some things up. And these are going to be difficult just because of the way these models are kind of oriented. So these legs, because of the way that they're kind of designed, from the ankle, so not the shoe or the foot, from the ankle up till the hip joint here, or the top of the leg joint. That's probably, I'm going to probably change that to all be gunmetal, including this little part here, where there's like pistons, which doesn't really even, it's not really showing up at all, of course. But, oh, that's wonderful too. You can even see when I sprayed it years and years ago, there's spots where it just completely missed. Look at that. Completely missed some of these spots. So it's going to be good that this thing's getting some attention and, you know, make it a more completed model. So I guess I have a little bit of sway room with this thing as to how it's going to end result, because it's clearly unfinished now, so let's finish it. Get all that dust, at least the dust that I can. The dust on here is so caked on, because it's been there for years. Models barely even picked up. But Oh, wow. Oh, that's a lot of dust. Ah. Oh. Okay. Expect me to sneeze a lot during this stream. That's likely gonna happen. I'm pretty sure I've got mild dust allergies. So I should be wearing a mask. Grandma. Alright. So these legs are gonna be like all silver, except for the center part here. I'm gonna keep this center part between the legs, this box, and then on the other side, the dreadnought crotch. I'm probably gonna keep that as red, and then I might try to get this hip joint here to be silver. I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna be doing for the rest of the body, based on the way it's looking right now. You know, there's black on one side, red on the other side. So I might want to keep that. And also on the other dreadnought, it's got the sort of red backpack section. So to kind of merge the two models' patterns to make it kind of rhyme, there's probably going to be, on the upper section, there's probably going to be more red left behind. Although things like this casket right here, or sarcophagus, this thing's going to be dramatically different. Like the sides of it, and then kind of going up to maybe about right there. So that part going across where it goes down there, and then stopping there, going up the sides of the casket, going up the top, these three prongs sort of thing. All that's probably going to get painted with black and then with gunmetal. I'm not sure if it's going to go any further than that, like up to where these cables are at the top here. I'll have to kind of figure that out, planning. And then that's going to need to get repainted. That's going to need to get painted in metallic. So similar process, you know, doing it in black and then doing it in silver. These arm joint sections, and where it's still rounded there, that's going to want to, same thing. It's going to be black, and then it's going to be silver. Is there dust on top of that? Yes, there is. Most of the dust is going to be on top-facing surfaces. Here. Also, this one here, the searchlight that used to be on this dreadnought snapped off years ago. There's just a tiny little nub of it left. So I'm probably going to take some clippers. If I can get it to show off there. Well, I guess that you can kind of see the spot where there's no paint, or where there's lots of paint. Oh, that's so sloppy. So I'm going to snip that off, and then that's going to get cleaned up. And these exhausts are going to get repainted, so they're going to need to, same treatment, they're going to get painted in black and then painted with silver. And I'm going to try to do the legs as clean as I can. The only difficulty that I'm really predicting with these legs is that these plates in the front are really close to all these pipes. So if I'm going to want to get in there and get all of the legs and without like ripping these off, I'm going to have to sort of very carefully paint the inside of those with black and then with silver. And I can see there's parts of these knee pad things, these leg plates, that aren't even painted. I can see very clearly. Not sure how clearly it's showing up there on camera, because nothing's showing up clearly on camera today. Yay! Okay. That? No. Still wanting to focus on these bastards. Alright. So in behind the leg stump here, you can see like bare plastic in there. So that's going to be a challenge, especially when we're getting to the other side, where I'm going to want to do all these legs up in black and then silver, and I'm going to try to want to not touch the inside of that plate. It's going to be like operation, and I'm going to be going probably back and forth between painting it one thing and then painting it the other thing. So it's just right, or until I've gone just insane enough. And there's also plenty of places where paint's been like worn down over the years, like on the feet, which once again nothing's showing up on camera very well. I should have set my camera before this. I was so excited. I just needed to start now. But yeah, for right now, assessment, planning, cleaning, prepping, and it's going to be going nuts, sort of thing. And I'm thinking I might leave this one actually for last. Like, I'm going to leave it as the example of what I want where and how, sort of thing, for the most part. And then I'm going to take one of the other models, apply what's been applied here, but then add to it. So then I have a more like finished dreadnought, and then I can apply the new changes or the finishing touches to this older one. But I'm also at the same time going to want to do everything probably batch style. So I'm going to be getting all of them to have certain things. Like I'll probably at one point, like there's this one here that's pretty well done that. Like that's pretty much the procedure there. There's some differences, like this one has, for some reason, I guess I've got black there. Maybe I was going for something different. And this one's legs are already being done a little bit differently, where there's more metallic in here. This older one. So some things that are going to get carried forward and then brought back. So yeah, I think this guy's pretty well dusted. Yeah, lots of the areas. Sometimes it's hard to tell where it's dust or there's just paint. There's just no paint. It's bare plastic. So I just kind of keep going over it. Maybe I should be using a wet brush. Maybe that would get... Maybe I could just get, like, an air can. Alright. So that looks pretty well done. Much dust. Okay, sorry. Too much dust. Yeah. Alright, and then I'm gonna have to do the weapons and all that after, too. So now, the metal one, why not? Metal dreadnought. Right, made out of pewter. Got a plastic, well, it's got a paper banner. How can I get maybe less light on it, or different light? Place is dying, confirmed. Yeah. Dying. I'm dying. But Master Yoda, you can't die. Wrong. And this one looks like it's got some details that the plastic one and the Assault on Blackreach one don't have. I was looking at some examples of kind of do they even still call it heavy metal? Of the dreadnoughts that are painted by Games Workshop staff, that they get painted for their books and for the magazine, stuff like that. Cotton. For doing this, you could use kind of any cheap old brush or like a makeup brush or something. Get rid of all the dust that's built up on this model that's sat there for way too long. And you can see this thing has been around for a while, and it even was being worked on. You can see probably by the difference between the reds. and it was going to be this red, but now it's going to have to change because this isn't the red that I'm using. This is Vallejo Blood Red, and this I think is either Mephiston Red. This might be an army painter. It could be Dragon Red. It could be pure red. I doubt this is Mephiston Red. It could be, but I doubt it. And so I'm going to need to go over on all of them. I'm going to need to make sure that they have Mephiston Red, because that's what I've been using. So that way everything just kind of rhymes together. Okay. Yeah, there's not going to be a lot on the bottom side. Don't really need to give that too much attention, too much of the TLC there. Give it some air there. See, some of these areas, I don't even know if I'm getting in there. Even then, I can't really even tell. It looks like there's a lot of dust. It might just be that weak spray job. Now, that one, look, I'm gonna say that's done, but now we'll get the legs, which are on this wonderful foam base with pieces of plaster and sand. Oh, it's gonna be great. All right, so let's just this off quick. Got barely any sort of complex components. It's all just kind of chunks, because I'm pretty sure when this thing was made, it was cast in. I'm pretty sure this dreadnought was made out of like some parts and putty and all that. Because these plates on the metal dreadnought are just kind of flush with the legs. Like there's no sort of behind, like, how do I want to say that? There's no gap between them and the mechanics of the leg. Not a lot of spaces for dust to hide in this. Should be fairly quick and dust on the base too. Why not? Let's do the base too. Yeah, let's make. Oh wow, look at that. That could just be the plaster. All right, that looks done. Down. Now this one I think is going to have way less dust on it. I think I've left this. It just lived its life inside of a box. Light over. I can't even see any dust on it. Is that dust, or is that just a bad spray job? Bad spray job. Okay. Even the base doesn't even have any dust there. Thing's practically immaculate, despite it being a very funky sort of not kit bash. The guy I got this off of, he was like, I want it to have all the options. So he gave it like a flamer on its wrist, and then there's like a melt-a-gun at its. Got like a dick gun. Got like a dick gun there. The real question, what do you think will happen first? You finishing the chapter or me coming back to painting? Oh, I didn't know you left painting. See, I've got loads of stuff left that even if I was painting every day, and even if I was finishing models left, right, and center, I would still, I could be going at this for quite a while. Just kind of depends on how I go about it, right? Because sometimes I'm doing my hobby stuff here on stream, right? Sometimes I'm doing it here live, you know, with people watching. Sometimes I'm just doing it kind of more casually, right? So sometimes I'm on Discord and just in like voice chat, and I throw the camera on just like this, and then while just hanging out with people, I'll just be doing my thing. sometimes the camera's not on, and I'm just kind of hanging out anyway, doing my thing. So, it depends on, how much I'm going to get into it, get into that zone sort of thing. Here's some weird things about the Assault on Blackreach Dreadnought. So, we take, like, this plastic set Dreadnought. Got a good example of it. See, there's, like, a space between the mechanics of the leg and this plate. And then on the Assault on Blackreach Dreadnought, there's just like a jutted piece of plastic that comes from the top of that leg plate and goes into the leg mechanics. So I'm not sure what that's about. I'm gonna need to figure out some kind of choice going forward, which clearly won't apply to all dreadnoughts, but it's going to apply to all the Assault on Blackreach dreadnoughts. With whatever reason they decided to put that thing there, I guess it's for stability. Model was only like, it was just like a front and a back, and then the feet, and then the guns, and I'm pretty sure that's it. It's been a while since I built one of these, but this thing is a very simplified version of it with how it goes together. Even the gun arms themselves are like hollow. I haven't properly painted in a while. I prepped some new minis, but I just haven't gotten to painting. That said, I am planning on moving soon, so I get a new area with a nicer office. Well, that can, jumpstart things. You get a nice location, and then feel like when the dust is settled, yeah, when the dust is, when the dust is settled and everything's all set up, you might get a second wind at it, sort of thing, and then the creative juices might start flowing better. And those creative juices are Citadel brand paints, okay? Citadel brand paints. That's creative juices, right? It's the forbidden juice. Don't drink it. Was there dust on the bottom of this thing? How did that happen? All right. Get the bottom, get underneath the legs the best we can. There's a lot of dust on these things. It was making me kind of wonder, would this have just been easier if I just got like an air can, like for one you would clean out your computer with, kind of thing? Started spritzing these things all over. Maybe if I waited for some parts for my airbrush, I could have just like got air at them. All right, get clean. This is Brother Weeaboo. His katana on his back. No, Brother Weeaboo. Teenage Mutant Ninja Dreads, yeah. So these ones in the back are all Assault on Blackreach, so these are all going to be kind of the same. Really, this is just a case of just getting all this dust. And this dust is palpable. Holy. That's years of dust getting brushed off here. Now some of this dust shoots off, and then it's just like, oh, wow. Wow, yeah, 2013, yeah, wow. That is the dust of, like, a decade ago. Oh, I can taste it. Taste the hope of 2013. All right. One doesn't seem so bad. I think it's because this one I actually, it was prepped up and spray painted much more recently and then put into a box. I'm pretty sure you can see it was black before, but it was lightly done because you can clearly the areas white painted. fine. Fine. Dreadnought's a dreadnought. Pull this dust out and get it all ready. So like I was saying, whoa, tap the camera there. Oh, sorry. Yeah, bong shot. So, delicious taste of null oil. I'll drink my pain if I want to. But yeah, I'm hoping I can set up nice setup in the new place to stream and the like. Yeah, oh yeah. I got a new PC coming, which is going to be a massive increase in productivity. Oh, I bet. Yeah, there was supposed to be a new PC coming this way, but then I guess things had to get in the way of that. So, no new computer for Sleeth. Still the crusty old, burning up, dying computer. Not a lot on here. All right. And just looking at these, just from a glance, they're looking like there's no dust on them. So it's... But yeah, I'm probably not going to be doing a lot of painting, if any painting. This is pretty much just cleanup and assessment, and then plotting and planning, or reaffirming the plans. And oh yeah, this one, I was trying to see if the arms moved, because they moved on the other one, but they didn't move on this one. So the pegs snapped off inside the guns, which of course are hollow on the Assault on Blackreach. I'm gonna set up baller prints and shit on the wall. My current office is pretty small. Oh wow, you're like a rapper. So the chain should allow me to fuck around with my minis. Trusty old dying. Mine isn't terrible, but I tried to Steam Total War the other day, and man, let me tell you, I could count the frames. Yeah. Which is weird, because I mean, maybe my computer here, maybe it got old, or maybe something overheated and damaged, because I used to be playing, I think I used to do Total War streams all the time. And I remember Total War Medieval 2 ran essentially without a hiccup, without any sort of major issues. And then, I don't know, something happened. And then it started giving a little bit of a stutter. So, who knows? Who knows? But a lot of the medieval games, or the Total War games, they're pretty intensive. They're pretty extensively, intensively pretensive. Fiber or hair there, and painted with spray paint. You can see red. Can I get it out? Use these nasty tweezers. Tear that off. Why am I here? Well, Davy Jones. I don't know. Why are you here? What are you doing here? Well, that because Brazil doesn't have enough bandwidth, or because you would burn down the country with the heat it puts off. Anything made after 1994? Oh, well then that's alright. That's alright, Jackler. You can probably play like Fallout 1. Yeah. Alright, but after everything you've done, people might want to follow in your footsteps. We can't have people leaving the vault. So I think most of this looks pretty cleaned up here. Most of this dust, as far as I can see, dusted off. Weird, you know, you're trying to get rid of the dust, so you dust it. Strange, right? Okay, so I think those are all dusted, so let's start going through these arms here. One thing I think I might change is with this, with the arms, because there's a lot of mechanical parts in between here and like the wrist and the hand and this plate. Like this plate here, I'm going to keep that black. I'm going to keep that done like that. But this center part, I'm thinking I might want to do metallic. Maybe I'll keep that plate there. Like this plate here red. Maybe I'll make that black. But a lot of these mechanics here where there's pistons and that, I'm thinking I want to make that to a metallic color. That's something I'm going to need to figure out. And then whatever I'm going to be doing here in the back. But yeah, this whole area, that's going to stay black. As for this wrist here, I don't know if I'm going to keep that black or if I'm going to change that to red. So that's something, you know, that's something that I'm going to have to figure out pretty soon. Because the Redemptor Dreadnought has silver fingers that go into a red hand, right? And so if we were to say these are the silver fingers that in like the claw, right? You know, then this would be red just to match the other one. But, you know, it could be different because it's a different sort of Dreadnought chassis. So, we'll see. We'll see. I guess I just got to do some planning, when everything's all nice and schemed up. Then, Paris. Okay, so that looks pretty roughly undustified. For this one, as cannon. You can see like there's dust that's built up around crevices here, corners and edges. And it's layered on in a way where, you know, I could even get it with this brush and then some of it comes off, but then there's dust underneath that's pretty much been caked, like layered down. This is practically like archaeology that we're doing. I feel like I'm in Jurassic Park. Da, dun, dun, na, 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 na. I think that the way I did this gun, because it's the red outside and then the black on the back, that probably explains why I stylized this, where this was black and then these parts are red. That's probably what I was going for, but in hindsight, I don't know if I'm really too hot about that. So I'm actually already kind of leaning towards this area here is not going to be red in the future. I'm probably going to end up painting this whole thing black and then just kind of bringing things up from there. Look at that wonderful paint job there where you can, oh, it's not, nothing's in focus. Because this camera is being an absolute cunt today. I should have just set it to like a certain value rather than auto-focusing, where it doesn't, it auto-focuses into nothing, into the void. That's what it wants to do. It wants to auto-focus on the void. That's right here, or onto the table. And then it kind of makes you wonder, well, aren't you trying to show off these models? And it's like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So shouldn't you have it focus on the models? Yeah, I mean, in theory, and you'd be right. You know, like, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong in this thing where I'm trying to have these models be visible for people to have something to look at. I mean, I would agree with you that ideally, okay, in an ideal world, which, you know, unfortunately we don't live in, this camera would be focused on the toys that I'm dusting and the dust particles for this and the amount that's going into the amount that I'm breathing in and then slowly dying from. Yeah, you can see there's lots of areas where the spray paint didn't even hit parts of the model. So rather than kind of going over this with another thing of spray paint, I'm just going to go over that with hand, because there's going to be enough texture there that's likely going to be fine. It'll have a higher chance of, you know, rubbing away and getting gone, but It'd be a lot cheaper and quicker than getting another can and going over it that way. Although really, these whole models, like essentially top to bottom, are going to need to get touched up. Make sure that the red is done. Make sure that the black isn't like worn off. Make sure that everything has the appropriate, colors and everything in every single spot of it. It's like, wow, look at that. These are like completely two different reds. Like those are entirely two different colors at that point. So there's going to be some work making these all match up, line up with each other. And we will get there. We will get there together. You and me, baby, make 3. He's trying to sell his desk, and this is the marketing. Oh, am I that transparent? The collector's item, as seen on Plate the Space Marine. Don't you want to have like a Space Marine desk with all the paint stains and bong resin? This one's got a good layer of dust on the top there. Probably not showing up there. Oh, now, there we go. I guess it focused. So if we give that a little bit of a left and right and up and down, then all of a sudden it clears up the dust that's on there. And this is going to be important because if I'm going to be putting paint on these things, I'm going to want there to not be caked on layers of dust, because that can lead to the paint going on top of the dust flaking off, the paint getting removed. It could add a funky texture to the paint, because then the dust mixes in with the paint when it's still wet, and then starts adding in a dusty texture all over the place, and then that spreads around, and you get this really strange looking figure. They went with the double C thick paint. Gritty and textured. Plays iconic tables from the sitcom The Slates. It's seen in Jerry Slate's apartment in Slatefeld, right? Got auctioned off for 4,000 points. That's the currency. Points. Okay, points. Doom Eternal is part of the Humble Bundle choice this month, considering to let my PC burn. Oh man. It would be really nice if I had a new computer. Then I could be playing all these wonderful new games. But instead, playing my Xbox 360. This one looks like it's got a different texture in between the Power Fist and this thing. Then, oh no, maybe it's the same. It's just done really badly by. So that could get redone in like a metal too. Getting to see things from a different angle, different light. Suddenly, it changes that perspective on things. Now I've got a whole new game plan. All these details. Everything. All right, last one. Not even that dusty. All these things were pretty clean and stored in a box and then sprayed and then put into a box. All right, so that's that. So half the games can't even run these days. Yeah. Okay. Sit back. Let the blood stop flowing out of my nose. Okay. So, because this is an adult show, I'm going to have my adult cigarette. So, a lot of work that's going to need to get done. And it's some of it, there's been wasted effort put into it, like this one, where there's these reds that were fixed into Vallejo blood red, because that's what I was using at the time. I was even, there was like a whole color correction period where it was like, all right, we're going to make everything this red because it's the right red. Everyone's going to be this bright red, and it just kind of didn't look right. It was kind of orangey. I didn't really want that. I wanted more like a Santa Claus red, that like candy apple cherry red. That's kind of what I wanted it to be. And even then, a lot of the models that I'm getting done, they're not that, and they're going to have to get changed and whatever. But I'll get to it. I'll get to it. We just need to put the effort in, and then we can crawl there. We will crawl there with our bloodied knees. Make the blood pour out of your nose faster. Corn cares not from where the blood flows. Well, then I'll just have a cigarette and have my lungs bleed. See? Corn. So, going back to this model, there's a lot that's going to need to be changed. So yeah, the sarcophagus, the front face is going to probably be changed to black rather than red. Which, like, the face, like, this thing is going to look very different. This thing is very red, the way it is. That's the way it's been for 20 years. And I'm finding it hard to even imagine it any other way. Like, this is how it's always been. With the red legs and, like, the very minimalistic sort of metal parts and all that. And, you know, it's easy to do, especially when parts of the legs you can't even really reach, right? Or at least not easily reach. So I'm thinking based off of the Redemptor as well, because I'm going to be moving this, because the future was based off of the past, and now the past, while it's being redone, is going to be based on the future. So there's these plates on top. Not sure if I can get a good shot of it. Maybe better with this one. There's these plates that are on top of the hip joints, right here. On this one, there's like a plate, and then there's these parts that I did black. Those I'm probably going to change up. So the legs themselves, or the stumpy things, whatever, those are all going to get done in metal, but then the plates on top of them are going to be red and black. And it's going to be lining up with the ones with the ones on the Redemptor. And the center part, the crotch part, that is going to be staying red. These arm sections, the things going on, those are going to be done in silver, so they're going to be done in black. We're going to get like these whole areas done up. And then just kind of like on here, I'm going to get part of this generator done up. That kind of flip there, center part red. When looking at the Redemptor, a lot of these things are going to make a lot more sense. It's gonna make a lot more sense just going off of how the Redemptor got done and then applying that backwards onto these, which is weird because that one was based off of this. The Redemptor paint job was based on this to make it look like it matched this, and now this is getting redone to make it look like it matches the Redemptor. Weird how that works, right? So there's going to be a lot to get done. The camera's going to need to be in focus during it, so that way this isn't a blurry mess where you can see my hands, but then like the toy is just like I'm a ghost or something, right? Like a blurry mess. You know, that's what you want in your live streams. Blurry, indecipherable messes like this. Weird how that happens. See if I can that. So yeah, I'm guessing by the end of it though, there's gonna be a lot more metal on the dreadnought. So like the sarcophagus, and then the legs, and then some of the undercarriage. Right, it's gonna be done all in metal. These arm stubs, that's gonna be in metal. So it's gonna look very different than the way it does right now. Good thing I've got like a photo, or I've got like a bunch of photos of it, so just in case, you know, there it is, and I can come back to it, and we could make Bloodhound Classic Dreadnought. Whoa! Right. But moving forward, you know, this is going to be the way it's going. Oh, hey, Neko, how's it going? Hope you're having a good night. And I think the thing I get to fall back on that is that clearly this model that I painted like 20 years ago, this model is clearly very unfinished in a lot of areas. Right? Like it's not cleaned up, it's not neat. There's a lot of areas where the paint's wearing off. There's parts where there probably should be paint, but there isn't. Or, you know, spots where there is paint where there shouldn't be. So I think I've got some breathing room to be able to go, all right, this model, this dreadnought was never finished in the first place, and now we're finishing it 20 years later, and as buddies too. So all the dreadnoughts are going to be all matching, and it's going to have this nice look where it's going to fit in, and it's going to fit all of my rules for my chapter. All right. Well, I didn't really have much planned for this evening. I didn't really plan on doing a whole painting session this evening. I was just gonna do a preliminary sort of check and kind of discuss what the game plan is with you guys. So that way it's kind of, you know, it's clear sailing moving forward. We know exactly what to expect from the future. And it's going to be a lot of me complaining about doing this. So, the weapon. I'm looking forward to getting this Furioso done. That'll be kind of neat. Get the Furioso in his claws. Hey, bub. Right? He's Wolverine. Yeah. I think that there's some work to do. You know, some stuff will be done on stream, some stuff will be done, you know, off stream. Probably going to be a bunch of it that's going to be done just hanging out on Discord. So, you know, if you're wanting to catch every moment of me working on these dreadnoughts, you know, feel free to join me in like a Discord chat. I'm usually in the Bloodhounds chapter, or I'm available in Ads's painting commissions server, or I might be in Chapter Master Valrak's server. You know, pop your head in if I'm there. I might be working on these, and you know, you can see me doing it live, and you can hang out, and we can all chat and get it all done. We can do it together. Well, now it focuses together. Yeah, there could be a decent series here. I imagine 6 dreadnoughts is going to be a pretty decent amount of time, although they're pretty flat surfaces. It's pretty boring in that sense. It's pretty just flat geometric surfaces. So, you know, if I mill these out and put them in kind of that conveyor belt sort of batch painting process, and then, you know, just going off an example, let's say I paint all their left foot black, right? And then I go for all of these, and then this side, and, you know, all the things that this thing already has. If I just add all those parts and just make sure that everybody has that across the board, then, you know, we're gold. We've gotten at least to that point, right? Then I start moving past that and bringing it to the things that need to get done as well, and then introducing that to all the models here, and then to this old model here. Getting all the reds done. So all of these are going to be being painted with the new red. right? Even if it's just like a kind of a quick dry brush, just like a sloppy, just get it across all the models sort of thing. Just so that way there's a similar enough tone, right? As long as it's similar enough by the end, then that's fine. It's golden. Like that's all we could really need, and all we could really ask for at that point, right? We don't need a huge amount of we don't need to make this more challenging than it already is. I barely breathe with all this dust. It's strange, but it seems your camera focuses better on your hand than the models. Maybe it's the color. Maybe. Could be all sorts of things. Let's try turning the lights off and see what happens if I turn the lights off. Get that mood lighting. Moob. There we go. Now it's Dreadnoughts After Dark. Well, that's even worse. So... I miss buttons instead of just touch controls. Touch controls are always like, why isn't it going? Why isn't it turning on? So yeah, a lot of little details too that got missed. Like, you know, like there's like the skull on the side of this las cannon and lots of different things that can be done up in a way that matches my later work. So that way these things aren't as cheap, because a lot of this end result for this dreadnought very much depended on the amount of paints that I had. And I think at this time I had electric or lightning blue, I forget what it was called. That's why the wings are so bright on that. I think that is done, like the bone and the cages there, and I think all that's in what was it called? Bleached bone. I think that was in bleached bone. And yeah, I very much didn't have a lot of paints at this time. So being able to come back at it with a much broader range of paints that I can apply to it, and the things that I've learned along the way, I can be making these dreadnoughts look a lot better. And, you know, finally the dreadnoughts are here. So, you know, I can kind of discount the way that this dreadnought's looked for a while and kind of fall back onto, well, it was never finished anyway. So, you know, we'll now finish it, and then moving forward definitively, this is the way that dreadnoughts are gonna look for the Bloodhounds. Okay, we can get that definitively done. So yeah, so I'm, like I was saying, I wasn't going to be doing any painting tonight. I was just kind of doing dusting and preliminary sort of assessment, kind of looking over what needs to get done, you know, what I might change, kind of thing, running it past everybody, just making sure everybody's kind of knowing like what I'm going to be doing, and just kind of looking at the task ahead of us, or ahead of me. And you know, so I'm going to be getting, now that you're all dusted, I think the next step, either going to be going for fixing the reds, or it's going to be applying black. I'm leaning towards applying black, because then it's going to be more selective as to what, and it's going to be more precise as to what I actually need to fix with the reds. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to move on to painting black, and then making certain weapons and stuff rhyme up with my other weapons. Like I'm going to compare these las cannons here with the las cannons on my infantry and things like that, just to make sure everything's fitting the same style sort of thing. So there's not going to be clashing styles going on. All right, well, it's been an hour. It's been a wonderful evening and a blast having you all join me. So I hope that you're going to join me for the rest of this, and we're going to knock out some dreadnoughts onto the table. The dreadnoughts have been awakened after centuries of slumber. Even in death, they still serve. That's right, Neko. These dreadnoughts are finally waking up, and they're getting some attention from the chapter tech marines and the serfs. Some paint's getting slapped up onto them. The holy oils are being dripped onto them. And there's going to be a dreadnought team here. We could even, let's take this one out. There we go. We don't need the Furioso, just regular dreadnoughts. They're the Dreadnought Rangers, the Mighty Morphin Dreadnought Rangers, and then there's that one. He's like the Green Ranger of the Mighty Morphin Dreadnought Rangers. All right. So I'm going to put these away. I'm going to put these away. I'm going to get some paints out. I'm going to get some planning ready, and then there's a good chance we'll get to some of this tomorrow. So yeah, if you want to follow along with this, follow on the channel, follow in the Discord server, follow wherever. I'm going to be doing these in live streams. I'm going to be doing these just kind of on my own sometimes, and I'm going to be doing these while I'm hanging out in Discord voice chats, right? So if you want to, pop in, say hello, and check out the progress live in more direct, kind of more personal, a more personal kind of venue, right? Then join me on Discord or on the streams. We're getting these things done. Dreadnoughts. All right, I'm out. I'm out. We're wrapping it up. We're wrapping it up. Wrap it up. Wait, what's this thing?